Welcome one and all to round 5 of the SFR GP3 Championship. But we turn our attention to the last 2 rounds. It was a Vietnam for round 3 and China for round 4. And, well, absolute shock. You see that first corner incident, and then I left the session. I got kicked out of the session. When I rejoined, the cars all over the shop. I basically take out another driver. No fault of my own, because I only take control now. And then I go off into Narnia just at the end of the lap. And VSC, more front wing damage for myself.
Mind that front wing.
And into the pit lane for another trip. And on lap 25, we're making progress right at the end on the softs. And then Reg, unfortunately, hitting the wall, and we just hit him from behind. And then just to compound all that, hit from behind and into the wall and out of the race. So DNF in Vietnam. Move on to China. And in qualifying, doing a lap on the medium tyres, going through the very fast middle sector and lose the back rear end of the car, spinning off into the wall. And we start at the back of the grid. But chose the wrong strategy on the hard tyres, and 11, 4, 12, doesn't matter, we're out the points. But nevertheless, we come to Zandvoort with high hopes after not scoring at all in the last 2 rounds. Dry race and dry quali, as it looks like. You see in qualifying, it looks very, very dark up in the skies. And this is our best run in the session, 5/10 of a second. As we run down towards the line, we're going to get P2 at this stage in qualifying, with a lot of drives still improving, and we end up with P5. You see, we're actually on the inters at the end. So the rain did come despite him not saying on the Delta. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the race.
It's time to go racing once again here at Zandvoort as we get underway for the Dutch Grand Prix. A lap of this short 2.6 mile Zandvoort circuit features 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left. The main straight is 678 metres long and heads into turn 1, the Tarzan corner. With DRS down the main straight into the braking zone, that could be the best overtaking opportunity on the track. Anthony Davidson is with me once again to take you through today's action, and we have plenty of twists and turns to come over the next hour or so.
As we come to the end of the formation lap, we're ready to go for the first race around Zandvoort in the SFR GP2 Championship, and the lights are here now. We have 3, 4 and 5 red lights. Hell for an absolute age, but it's lights out and away we go. Spin an okay start, wheel spin though. All about, we're on the outside as we run down into the Tarzan corner of turn 1. Stuck behind the Haas driver a little bit in the Mercedes. Okin David has gone up our inside. Now we need to try and defend from the Renault just behind and make our way through turn 2 and down into turn 3. I think it's like 33% banking on this corner, but the Haas and the Mercedes come to blows. We touch the back of the Haas driver, but avoid throwing damage, slow down. Luckily enough, we sort of realised what was happening to avoid big damage there. We move on lap 1 as we make our way through pretty much what is single file now. Absolutely brilliant. It's like a roller coaster around the Zandvoort circuit, and pushing on right behind the Haas driver on lap 4. Start of lap 4, the Haas driver and David come to blows, and we just about avoid the Mercedes driver and move ourselves back up into where we started, back up in a P5, and we're chasing after Rage now, going to his inside at the start of lap 12. You see how dark it is in the clouds above. We're on the inside. If you go down into Tarzan, he's hanging it round on our outside with side by side, bit of wheel banging as we go through. Now down into turn 3, going to be on the inside, but he gets onto the curve, loses the rear and actually crashes into us. You can see we've got a bit of his front wing sat on the side of our car, but fair play to him, he did apologise for it afterwards and didn't affect our race at all. We're staying out now on lap 12. You see, Jeff was telling me the rain was coming, so I decided to stay out for as long as I could. So lap 17, we take the lead of this race. However, it was a very awkward race where it was never wet enough for inters, but still a bit damp, and it was very, very difficult. We came into the pit lane, end of lap 17, the tyres absolutely screaming as we come into the pit lane. But going on to medium tyres to the end now. We've gone so long in this race on the softs, we don't have to put on the hards, and that is definitely going to be a big benefit towards the end of this race. Good pit stop from the McLaren boys. Coming out now, we'll be out in P5 once again, but I think New Potato in front hasn't pitted yet, so hopefully we can benefit from his pit stop. Let's come on to lap 21. It's a safety car.
Safety car.
Rachel's retired, and it's unfortunately a safety car. And New Potato and Chris have both come into pit lane. Chris for inters, very interestingly enough. Behind us, New Potato is on softs, so we're going to have to be very, very careful on the restart. Dead on overtake, rear end squirming away now as we run down in towards turn number 1. We're too far back to have a go on the Williams, but we brake way too late, and that's going to allow Chris and New Potatoes go up or inside, bit of a touches. New Potatoes struggling to hold the car as well as he's onto the grass now, taking out the marker board, and down or inside comes James. That's a very good move, very opportunistic as well. As we move now into that turn 3, we've got the Renault of Escape on our outside. We almost understeered into him. We're side by side, going to get a much better exit on that outside line, and we've now dropped down into P6. And on lap 26 here, you see Chris taking the lead on those inters, but the track is drying out. Inters were perfect for the start, the restart. You see, he struggles to keep the car on track, crashing to Frederick a touch, and that slows down next gamer and James. We're now going to be past them, up into overtake. Frederick side by side with Chris, who's trying to get past him. Chris really struggling those inters. They start to overtake. James sends it down the inside. We're trying to hang it around the outside now. Bit of contact. The Williams goes off to the right, hits Chris, and we somehow sneak through on the inside. Next gamer trying to follow us through. And as we move now towards this turn number 13, we're back up in a 3rd place somehow, and back up onto the podium. Yellow flag further back, and I think Chris having a few issues on those intermediates as he's being swallowed up by the chasing pack. And this virtual safety car's out, and I think that is for Chris, who's surely coming into the pit lane in a couple of moments. But this is the replay from my POV of this. We get a beautiful sort of a slide up the inside of the two guys, much better exit as they were compromised. Bit of a wheel bang there from James, and he sends it, absolutely sent it. Try and go up the inside of Chris. We go around the outside, which then of course switches to the inside. And it's a bit of carnage. We sort of avoid it by doing a bit of curb riding. And we're up into 3rd place, gaining 3 positions there. We get ahead of Frederick on those hard tyres. Just behind James now. And you see, return to racing speed. The VSC has ended. XM right on the back of it. It's got a fantastic restart. And he's actually going to send it up or inside. Very opportunistic move. And he gets the job done into turn 10. We're both going to get DRS now as we chase after James in that Mercedes. We're out of the podium positions now, so we need to try and fight it back with less than 10 laps to go in this race. You see now, XM has managed to get past James, and now it's our turn. DRS, bit of overtake as we come around the big back corner with the Ferrari into the wall. Both tyres lost, and the Williams straight into him and collected by, I think that was the Ripple and the Racing Point. We've managed to go down the inside of James, get the position done, but the safety car was called out. 3 drivers retiring there. And we actually we're leading the race. Everybody but me and Senna came into the pit lane for fresh softs, so we're going to be under attack now towards the end from the chasing pack. And we need to decide when we want to go. We need to plan this as best as we can. It's very difficult to overtake at Zandvoort, but nevertheless, me and Senna both have 13-lap-old medium tyres. They're all on fresh softs, and we are off, up into overtake, up into rich, and we're blasting off, breaking the toe as well. And it is time to put the hammer down. We need to do our absolute best to stay ahead, and we've seen those Renaults are very punchy when overtaking, so we need to be very careful. And of course, New Potato, the second he gets past Senna, if he gets past Senna, he'll be right onto the back of us. You see on lap 34, we're keeping ahead. They've watched the Delta. Senna makes a small mistake, and he's now side by side with New Potato. We can't really see what's happening. We're too focused on trying to stay on the track ourselves, so they're swapping positions. There we go. Swapping positions as they go into turn 3, but Senna just about keeps ahead. And that gap is going to help me keep ahead. But now as we smoothly transition onto lap number 35, we'll see that there's been a big crash. Further back, New Potato having an off as he came together, I think, with one of the Renaults. And that has allowed us to have a 1.4 second buffer. And surely now we are going to be ahead to win this Grand Prix. We're on the final lap of the race. We have no penalties, not a single warning to our name. And as we go down to around turn 13, and we'll go onto the bank corner of turn 14, about double the steepness of the Indianapolis banks. We come towards the line to win our first race in SFR GP2, the first win in SFR outside of the Reserve League. And we win at Zandvoort. And what a race that was, a roller coaster of a race. But we claimed the win in the McLaren. Unfortunately, our teammate couldn't be here today. So we get good points for the McLaren team and help us out in the championship massively. But if you look at my record, it's far from ideal. A second placer, a 10th place, a DNF and 11th, and then a first. So not consistent, but 2 podiums. You have to be happy with that. And taking the top step as James managed to get on the podium because of a time penalty for X-Gamer. But top step, I mean, Mike, what a lap time. 13 seconds, fair play to him. You see Chris, almost 2 seconds quicker than me, fastest lap-wise, and see that pace on the softs at the end. But nevertheless, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you all next time.